American self-made businessman. His word is his bond, and he can sell anything better than anyone can.
So we
He's
had
one
the
of
big
Houston's
recliner seat
greatest
right on the sidelines, right beside the bench and between the cheerleaders, and it was like the coolest experience ever. And without further ado, I want to introduce Jim McIngvale, Mattress Mack.
Thank you very much. I'm honored to be here at Katy Christian Chamber of Commerce. I apologize for being late. I'm blaming it all on COVID. I haven't done a speech since March 15th. I'm out of the speech mode, and I slept through it. So that's my story, officer. I'm sticking to it. I will tell you a couple quick stories this morning. A couple years ago, I went to this convention, and there was a guy there speaking. His name was Mike Rowe. You may have seen his TV show. It's called Dirty Jobs. And I've been on the North Freeway at that Gallery Furniture store for 40 years. I've probably seen more retail customers the past 40 years than all but maybe 10 people on the earth. And I saw these people coming in. Some were very well educated, like this group, had good jobs. Some were struggling, and some had no chance. Some were fifth generation welfare. They looked like it, they talked like it, they dressed like it, and it was not good. And I knew that one of these days I'm not going to be on this earth, and at that time I will face my Creator, and He will not ask me how much money did I make. Instead, He will ask me how much of a difference did I make. So I figured I better do something about it. So I'm listening to this guy Mike Rowe talk about dirty jobs. He's talking about this guy that cleaned the sewers in San Francisco is making $200,000 a year. And he was talking about this guy that castrated bulls in Montana that was making a lot of money. He was talking about these electricians, these carpenters, these mechanics, and people that work with their hands. And he said, you know, everybody doesn't need to go to school, and one of the problems in this country is we took vocational ed out of the high schools. And so because I run a large furniture store, we now have way too much space because of the Amazon effect. People buy online, and I have learned over my past 30 years a retailism that the more furniture you show them, the more they get confused, and the more they say, I'm overwhelmed, they go home. They don't buy anything. So I decided I would take 30,000 square foot of that store and make it into a trade school. And I got a hold of this guy, this friend of mine named Mike Feinberg, who started the KIPP schools back in 1995. Mike started the KIPP schools on Tidwell Road, right down the street from where I was at. I was the first donor, and I paid for the books that helped educate this little girl who now works with us. Her name is Vanessa. She was in the 7th grade in 1995 down at the KIPP school. And life comes full circle. So we started we're going to start a trade school. We're going to start a high school for people 16 to 26 that never finished high school. And we are going to start for those people that had kids that weren't able to come to the high school because of their children, or weren't able to come to the trade school because of their children. We started a preschool for children aged 6 months old to 5 years, so they can go attend our preschool for free while their parents are in the trade school or the high school. And the preschool is also for our employees. I noticed over the years that almost all the employees at Gallery Furniture were gray-haired like me. And one of my favorite priests has a saying, he says all the time at church, which is very true. He says, if it ain't crying, it's dying. In other words, the congregation ain't full of kids that are crying, that congregation is dying. It is good, isn't it? And I looked around and I saw Gallery Furniture. I said, we got to change. We got to get some young people in here. So we started this project last February, and things were pretty normal. Then, as you well know, all the stuff hit the fan on March 15th, and the world changed. Undaunted, I didn't have the money to do this, but we kept going, and we kept going with that school because I wanted to get the school open by September. We had about $3 million in outlay for that school. I figured the good Lord would find us a way to get the money for the school. Strangely enough, when the COVID-19 started, people were trapped in their homes. all they could do was look at the nasty sofa that the dog peed on last night. And so that was a boom for us because people came out and bought furniture. And we're the only ones that had any furniture because we buy made in America furniture. The rest of them buy furniture from China. And China had a coronavirus problem for 2 months.
Wow.
So the craziest thing I've ever seen. We're not getting furniture from one of the leading American furniture manufacturers this week because this sofa maker is out of springs.
Wow.
Another one's out of foam.
Wow.
It's really different, so we're having to scramble. But business is good because people are staying home more and they're having Thanksgiving at home. So we started this school. And people said I couldn't do it. I like it when they say I can't do stuff because my daddy taught me, said, don't tell me it's impossible until after I've already done it. So we started this school, and the school opened in September. And for our little trade school, we only had 2,500 applicants.
Wow.
And we've got the high school going also. The high school has about 300 students in it. Half of them are in person, half of them are virtual, and we've got our daycare going with about 30, 40 kids in it. So it's going. And we had our first graduation last night of our first cohort of people who finished with, we're also partnering with HCC, finished their first cohort of electrical training, and they got grade 1 certification, whatever that means, but they're on the way.
Yeah.
And these are people, several of them ride the bus a couple hours to get to us. I don't recommend that, but that's the way it is. They want to learn, they want to develop a skill, so we're teaching plumbing, we're teaching electrical, we're teaching home building, we're teaching culinary, we're teaching auto mechanics, we're teaching woodworking, we're teaching sales, all these courses to these people. And we're going to get them a job, and we're going to break that generation of welfare for 5 generations, and they're going to go get a good job, and they're going to learn how to work. But you know what's more important? We're not only teaching them how to be a great welder. Before the pandemic started, there was an opening for 17,000 welders in the state of Texas. There is so much need for top quality auto mechanics. Quite often these general managers of these dealerships learn of a good auto mechanic and they go sit in the other dealerships parking lot till that auto mechanic gets off of work, and then they try to recruit him and they end up having a fist fight with the other general manager in the parking lot. It is unbelievable how much need there are for these skilled professions. And I met this woman named Temple Grandin, who's the world's expert on animal welfare and also autism. And she told me let people work with their hands and find a job they love to do and never have to work a day in their life. So we did all that. And we're going to break those 5 or 6 generations of welfares because I think it's real simple. People fall into the habit of being a victim. The difference between being a victim and a victor is just 2 letters, I-M versus O-R. And we're going to show them how to, we're going to give them teach them how to fish rather than give them a fish, and it's working, and the people are out there, and more are coming all the time. And we're going to do that also in our Fort Bend location. If this one turns out as successful as we think it is next year. So we're going to help educate people and help them get a good job and help them make money. And we're also teaching them soft skills. We're teaching them things like conflict resolution. We're teaching them how to dress. We're teaching them how to get constructive criticism from their boss and not get upset about it. And most of all, we're teaching them how to do financial planning and what to do when your car breaks down. How do you still get to work that day because the boss is expecting you to come to work that day, and they never learned any of those skills. But we're going to teach them those skills. So that's what we're doing at Gallery Furniture. During the pandemic, we fed people. We fed about 2,000 people a day. We had a deal with Chick-fil-A, and we would give them Chick-fil-A sandwiches. And behind my store is this great big apartment, and it is a ghetto. And each building is run by some slumlords. The slumlords are so smart that each building, like one of these tables, has a different address on it. The reason they have a different address on it is so HPD can't aggregate the crimes and figure out this is a nuisance to this town and shut it down. And there's gunfire over there about 3 times a week. And the kids can't go outside. So we started giving away those sandwiches, and this woman came up who lives there. And She's pretty much mentally retarded, but she's fairly functional. And she was pregnant, and she would come to me to get food and to get milk and to get all these things during her pregnancy. So we took care of her for several months. She came in one day and her face was all beat up and marred, and just bloody. And I said, "What's the problem?" She said, "I got pistol whipped." I said, "Why is that?" "Because he wanted to blank me." And I said, "Give me money." Tough world. So she finally got to where she said she wanted help, and this friend of mine who works for Harris County in the trafficking division got her into a halfway house, and now she's further along in pregnancy. And she goes to the halfway house. She stayed there for 2 weeks, but they wouldn't let her smoke, so she comes out of the halfway house, goes back to this apartment complex, because that's all she knows. She doesn't know anything else. And then she stays there and comes by every day and eats with us. And then on a Friday, she's about 7 months pregnant. She says to me, "I want to go back into the halfway house." So I called my friend Kathy, and miraculously Kathy got her back in that Friday afternoon. And you know, it's strange how the good Lord works, because that woman had that baby on Monday morning.
Wow.
At LBJ Hospital. Wow. So the doctors and nurses, they knew what the story was, you know, no husband, no family, no support, no nothing. So she had the baby. And they're all gathered around and they said, "What do you want to name the baby?" She says, "Mattress Mack." All those doctors' eyes got like this. Sure enough, right there on the birth certificate, there it is. So the problem is, she had all these diseases. The baby had none. Absolute miracle. The baby had none. And I asked her, I had a parent wanting to adopt, a parent that I had vetted, aces, straights, and flushes, as good as it gets. Would she give up the child? She gave up the child. The child was premature and stayed in the hospital for 3 weeks, and now the child is with her adopted parents and doing great. And the child has a huge future to be successful. I think as Christians, we don't need to talk about things, we need to do them.
Amen.
And I'm all for being woke, and I'm all for being this, and I'm all for being that. What I'm all for really is affecting change by getting out there, rolling up our sleeves, and helping people find a better way. And the better way is through God, duty, family, honor, country. We lost religion in this country, and we lost a lot.
Yes, sir.
You know, I'm a Catholic, and Catholic Church that had masses continuously for 2,000 years. Through war, famine, pestilence, plague, through the Black Death, which killed 1/3 of the residents in Europe, they kept going. But we had to shut the churches during the pandemic.
Yeah.
We had to shut the churches, but the liquor stores were open.
Yeah.
There's an issue there.
Yes, it is.
What do we need to do as Christians? We need to stand up and fight.
Yes, sir.
We need to, we need to stand up and fight for what we believe in, for God, duty, honor, and country, and not being yelled at and screamed at and called a name and sit down and quiver in our homes, afraid to announce the good news of Jesus Christ. Actions speak louder than words. Let our actions shout and our words whisper. Thanks very much.
Does anybody want to ask Mattress Mack a question?
Do you need a new sofa?
Yeah. Hey, you know Mattress Mack, okay? He's in the business of selling furniture, so I've bought furniture from him at least 3 times, I think 4. You know, buy furniture from him. It's American made. You know the man's heart. He uses the money.
And we get it delivered today.
Exactly. I'm never gonna be able to top that. He does it today. I mean, same day, and he always calls you that day. At least, you know, that's the way.
No back order slip.
So is anybody? Okay.
I do have a question. Thank you so much. I was almost in tears the whole time being talked. I'm a mother of 3 and 12. I'm sorry, they just turned 12. They're gonna kill me. 12 years old twins and a 13-year-old, and I pulled them out of Katy ISD because God told me just get them out and do homeschool. I am so new. I'm a newborn since May 2010. I went to heaven and back, and I now struggling teaching my kids at home because I never done homeschool. So do you have a program for homeschool? Like, someone that you can guide me to or lead me to, they can help me homeschool the kids.
If you'll call me, I'll get you in touch with Vanessa, who's one of the people that runs our education program. She knows every resource out there, and she'll direct you the right way.
Perfect.
My cell number is 281-844-1963.
We've got it.
I'll give it to you.
It's on the front of the website. Call me now. Vanessa will help you there.
Thank you.
God bless you for doing that.
Daryl.
Hello, sir. How are you doing this
Doing
morning?
fine, sir.
Doing good. You are like as this gentleman said, you're like a role model to me. I'm a pastor and I'm also a funeral director, and I just have 2 questions for you. Out of all the business people out there, there's none like you. You're a legend. But what's kept you humble? And also, too, what can you share with a business person to keep going? Because I've read your book back in the day. You signed your book for me in a basketball at your store on the north side, and I still have kept it. So I just want to know what has kept you so humble in the midst of all the other people, and what would you share just for a person like me who has a big dream to be like you?
Well, what's kept me humble is being out there with the people every day, and not taking myself so seriously and seeing how flawed that I am, and trying to mend some of my many flaws every day. And I pray the rosary a lot, and that keeps me humble. And what was the next question?
Just what would you say for
Never
a business
give
person?
up.
Never give up.
Never give up. We have a Salesforce that's our CRM for our customer relationship management. And one of the ladies the other day was looking for a service call for some customer, and she looked 4 different places and didn't pop up. And then that stupid computer popped up something that I thought was great. It says, "Don't give up yet." The key word being yet, and just they're going to knock you down. They're going to run all over you, but you'll get there if you keep persisting, because as Babe Ruth once said, it's hard to beat a person who never gives up.
That's good. Awesome. Thank you, sir. Bless you.
Hi. So as a lifelong educator, I just want to thank you for what you're doing in education. It's amazing. I'm curious, where did you get the people that are training the kids in the vocational school and the teachers? Where did you find all of these people?
Oh, that's a good question. They volunteer by the droves. So many people are semi-retired and they want to help. I mean, the United States or Texas is full of so many great people. They want to come up there and volunteer, or we pay them. But there's hundreds of them. We've got we've partnered up with these industry companies that need people, and they're giving their own employees out there to teach the trainees, because they're dying to hire more employees, whether it's residential construction, electrical, commercial construction, plumbing, heating, air conditioning, HVAC, whatever. They help. They design a curriculum so that people learn the curriculum they want them to learn. So when they're an electrician, they know how to bend conduit, do this, do that, and they can do the skills that are necessary to succeed in that job. So we're partnering with lots of industry partners, and my boy Mike Feinberg is really good at that. So they're helping us along the way. Yes, sir.
Good morning, Metro Mack. How you doing? My name is Donnell Cooper. I'm a director of Eastern Community College, and I'm coming to you just speaking really as a Christian man. Taking the titles off. I'm 2 exits from you at the Acres Home campus, and I know sometime in this political world, you know, a lot of times we can kind of get caught up in the titles, and sometimes you can't speak directly to the person. So I'm speaking to you out of an axe today. We're the only campus in the Northeast corridor that is not currently open on the workforce arena in the Northeast area of Houston Community College. And you've talked about a lot today. And when I get on my Zoom and conference calls with ACC, a lot of people do not know what you're doing in the magnitude of what you just expressed in that trade and that world skill development component. Prior to the pandemic, your soft skill development component that you're doing in your store now, my campus is supposed to be receiving the overflow of that opportunity.
Right.
And due to the pandemic, we have not done that. So I'm just asking, as a campus director, who would be a good person that I can kind of sit down to let's talk about how can we grow that campus. This campus was open in June of 2017. And again, we're right in the heart of Acres Home community. And again, I'm looking for students. My job as the campus director is to grow the campus. And again, I'm not trying to.
You know, we're doing a lot of partnership with HCC.
Correct, yes.
HCC has been great for us. Just come out and talk to me and Mike Feinberg and Vanessa.
Okay.
We'll figure it out.
Okay.
Yeah, because y'all are right across the street.
Yes,
yeah.
sir. Right across the
Yeah,
street.
right across the street.
And right now we're we're closed. So.
I've been selling furniture at Acres Home for 40 years.
All right.
So I'm ready.
All right. Thank you.
Okay,
Yes,
let's meet
ma'am.
last question.
So suffice to say, you're super well connected and have a great pulse on the community. And with hearing all the different needs of everyone that comes to you, I think our mission as Christian business people are to have our boots on the ground, giving wherever and whenever we can. You're so much in the know. What can you tell us are maybe what you consider your top 3, 4, 5 opportunities that really maybe aren't getting? You know, food bank gets attention, some things get attention, maybe Brookwood, maybe, you know, there are just some things that aren't getting the attention that it needs for community business support. It's end of year, people, businesses looking to do tax.
You know, we had a job fair yesterday, and stupid me forgot to say anything about it. My son advertised it on the internet one day. We had 300 people show up. 300 people show up for a $10 an hour job. It was just shocking how many people were there. People need to work. What we need to do is put people to work and let them understand the joy of work and the fact that work is life's greatest therapy. And, you know, I'm big on trite cliches. There's a trite cliche, an idle mind is the devil's workshop. It's true. That's how you get in trouble. But if you're up there working and with your friends and you're learning new stuff and you're making money and you're feeling good about yourself, it's a totally different dynamic. So we need to find ways to put people to work and find the people that are unemployed that they do want to work, they just need the access to it. And the access is quite difficult sometimes. So if we can give them that access and pave the road, they'll come in and they'll be outstanding. So again, to me, my whole thing about life is work is life's greatest therapy. Find a job you love to do. You never have to work a day in your life. You do that, you're fulfilled. And that's what we need to do as Christian business people, get more people to work. Thank you.
Amen. Our sponsor, Carrie, she made a gift basket for you. She wants to give to you.
Oh,
Yes.
great. Thank you, ma'am.
So we just want to thank you for coming to speak to us today, and we appreciate everything you do for Houston. I grew up with you on TV, so I love you, and I thank you for coming today.
Thank you, ma'am.
Can I ask Mr. Mattress a question?
Has no end.
Very nice.
Well, he's a natural born leader, one of God's best examples of a family man. Even though Tim is his real name, it's not the one that brought him fame. His mama calls him Jimmy and Daddy say Mack, but we affectionately know him as a mattress.